Hi everybody. Today we are going to create a wreath in alcohol ink on the canvas. The first thing you'll need to do is measure the center of your canvas. I've got a square canvas here, 28 inches across. The reason we're doing this is we want to make a perfect circle for our wreath. So I'll measure it both ways, 14 inches. The next thing we're going to do is I tied a piece of string to a pencil, and you want to make your circle. Depends on how far out you want it. I always start out on this part right here, and I'll draw the circle. Go around this way. And then you want to do the center part of the other part of the wreath. So you go in a little bit. I'd say, and it's really up to you. Just hold your finger down. Oops. Like that. And whoops, I messed up there. You got to make sure your string's tied on really well. And then just erase some of it, because you don't want it all to show through. So as long as you have an idea of where those lines are, so you have your wreath in proportion. And I use this this kind of eraser. I don't know what you call it, but it really erases well on the canvas, and it doesn't leave little marks. I'll find out the name of it and list it in there, and then get rid of your little center circle. So, all right, we've got that all cleaned off. You just see a little bit of the lines. And then I've got all the colors and the types of ink I have listed for you. The first thing I start out is using the alcohol ink blending solution. And the color I'm going to start with is Stream, because it just happens to be my favorite. You can use really whatever colors you want. I'm using greens and reds and turquoise and things like that, with some golds and silvers, because my living room has turquoise. I'm just going to kind of pour a little bit of the blending solution on here. And I'm going to get myself a paintbrush. Sorry about that. Okay, got my paintbrush, and I'm going to start adding on some Stream, and then just kind of blending it in a little bit. Leave some areas for white, because you want areas where you can put your berries, your red berries and things like that. You always want some white space. So I'm going to add a little more all the way around. Looks like I have some pink in this solution, but it's no big deal, because it's just more color, which I love. All right. Keep blending it around. I've not treated this canvas with anything, so it soaks in pretty much, but it doesn't really bother me. More solution all the way around. And more of the stream. Go around, maybe touch on the lines that I drew, because that's going to cover them. You really don't want those pencil lines showing at all, right? In fact, you can erase more if you like, just so you have your idea. We don't want the pencil lines to show. All right. So I'm happy with that. Can always add more. Just keep touching on the lines. I don't really use any canned air or anything on this. Just all with my paintbrush and just dropping on little droplets and things. The next color I will use is going to be, let's see here, I got some citrus. Yeah, some nice light citrus. I'm just going to dab on there. Just little drops. I really didn't add any more blending solution. And you can use a clean brush every time, and you can clean your brush as you go. I don't really do that because I like to use some of the same color that was on there. So it's okay with me if I have stream mixed in with this. I don't like it. It's really fun. And again, you can make your wreath much bigger if you like. Much thicker, I guess I meant to say. Another thing that I like to do is to take a cotton ball. This is what I did this last night, so I've got one that's already used. Kind of wet it where it had some stream on there and kind of dab around the outer edges. I just think it looks pretty like that. It kind of softens it up. Go all the way around the edge, and then you can go in the middle. I just love that. So soft. You can even dab some in there if you like, a little bit. Right. Put that aside. Next thing I do is I'll take some alcohol pearl. And I just love this. It's shiny. Just kind of drop it into some of the white spaces. Just dropping it in. Not really going to add blending solution to this, because blending solution and pearl, for me, don't work very well together. So I'm just dropping it in just for more color and a little bit of shine. Okay, then I'm going to use a little bit of Pearl Envy. Put my greens in. Again, just kind of drop them on. This one's a little darker green. And just a few drops, haphazard. And the next one, I'm going to put a darker color. This is Jacquard Pinata Rainforest Green, because I do want to have some nice contrast in there. So I'm going to just drop. This one's pretty dark. So I'm not using too much because I I just don't want it to overpower. But I love it. I love having the dark contrast. Gorgeous. So many different colors of greens, aren't there? Look at how dark that gets. A little bit there. And I'm just going to kind of dab that up. Just a little with my cotton ball. The handy cotton ball that we all love. Okay, it's looking good. Dab it around, or you can just leave it as drops. There's no rules for this. Okay, I think I'd like to add a little bit of turquoise in here. Just a little. Put that in the whiter spaces. Gotta remember to leave some room for my red berries. Just a tiny bit, not too much. You can dab it with your cotton ball, or you can dab it a little bit with your paintbrush, whatever you like. I'm not using a tray, plastic tray at all for this. Just gonna make it abstract. All right, now we've got one called Tranquil. Such a beautiful name. It's an alcohol pearl. Very tranquil. And drop some of that on there. That's going to give you a little bit of sparkly. The pearl has got something in it to make it a little bit shiny. Shows up better when it's dry. You'll see this shiny sparkly in there. And I'm putting it right on top of some of my blues and greens there. All right. And let's see here. I think that's looking really good. I think I'm going to add a little bit of botanical, which is such a true, beautiful green. Just a little bit in here. Dab it around. Not much. Okay, we got some botanical, and I'm gonna just dab it in there. And the next thing I will do is I'm going to add a little olive tree gold. This is epoxy candy, so it's a shimmer ink. And I just want to make this as shimmery as possible. So again, dropping them on. Kind of an olive. So what is this olive tree? All the greens you can. Greens and blues. Right, we got that shimmery. And I'm not really going to even touch that. I'm not going to blend that at all. Next one I will use is, I'm going to go with the red, the little red. This is watermelon. And I'm just going to drop it on. I'm not making perfectly round berries. I'm just getting color. Just getting color in there. Because to me, a wreath has to have some red berries in there. At least my wreath does. You can also put it on the end of a paintbrush, pointy paintbrush, and make it a perfect circle, but these are coming out pretty good. Pretty nicely. Then you have some red in there. And then of course, they're gonna blend in with the other inks, but I love it. Abstract, right? I've always been such a realist painter. I never thought I would get into anything abstract-like, which to me this is kind of abstract. So we got some reds in there. You could add more if you like. And then I'm going to take the Enchanted Alcohol Pearl, just because it's pretty. And it's kind of a pink. And I'm going to actually drop some right on top of the red that I just added. Might make it a little more shimmery. Kind of turn it into pink berries a little bit. Put some on their own, because why not have pink berries, right? Next thing I'm going to do is I have a little teal epoxy candy, Teal Serene. So add a little bit of that in there because it's got some greenish blue. I love teal. And again, this is sparkly, so we want to make our wreath kind of sparkly. Just dropping that on, and we'll see how it dries. Let's see. I don't think I put the Alcohol Pearl Intrigue. Put that on there. More of a kind of a pinkish purple. Just going to add some drops by themselves. Such a pretty color. Absolutely gorgeous. Put it on top. Love that. So now you've got some red in there, and oh, gorgeous colors. All right, let's see. Now I am going to add a little bit of gold. This is the gold, rich gold pinata. And I'm going to add some straight onto my reds. Looks really pretty the way it mixes in, which of course now covers up my red, so I'll probably have to add some more red in there. But I just like the way it blends together. You can also just add dots of gold by itself. Look at that one. Oh, gorgeous. The way they mix together is just mesmerizing, I think. And the last thing I'm going to do, well, I've got two more things I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little bit of the Mixative Silver Ranger. Again, little drops. You can add it to the wet red if you like, or just add them by themselves. looking really good. Now what I would do is I would let it all dry. You can probably let it dry for about 30 minutes. Or you could use maybe a blow dryer or something like that to dry it quicker, because the last thing that I do is I add some silver with the Prime Premio silver pen, Deco Color. It's an oil-based metallic marker. Now, what I'm going to do, this isn't dry, is I'm going to kind of go around the dry spaces and show you how to do this, but you can wait till it's completely dry to add more little swirly marks. So with these, you've got to pump them to get them going, shake them really well. And then I just start kind of, let me shake it a little bit more to get the ink going, and I just kind of draw around on it in the spaces, you know, where it'll show up, little squirrely whirlies and things like that. Gotta really prime it. And the more you prime it, see, the more you prime it, the more that oil is going to come out. And you could probably do it with a gold pen as well. But I don't have a gold pen. I have silver, and I love silver. And just draw little wigglies all around there. However you want. And it just makes it shinier. The reason I made one of these is I have a kind of dark fireplace, and when I put on the regular wreath, it kind of gets lost on the fireplace. And I wanted a wreath that really stood out. So with the white background of a canvas, you can see this wreath. And maybe I'll have some kind of light shining on it or something like that to make the silver highlights and the gold highlights show up really nice. And then after it dries 24 hours, I will spray it with a Camar varnish, spray varnish, several times. Then I will seal it with the UV protector spray. And maybe I will resin this. I just haven't decided yet, but I think to resin this, it will look really gorgeous. Really shiny, huh? Other things you can do, totally up to you, is, you know, add a big red ribbon or something like that. That might look pretty. I thought of doing that. But I kind of like it by itself, too. You could do the whole thing with a cotton ball.